All right, what's up guys? This is Brett from FBA Excel, and in this training module, it's basically going to be getting your Apex system set up so you can start using it on a daily basis. It is pretty simple, so this video should be relatively quick, but there is an onboarding kind of sequence here. The first choice here in the drop down, this video here is what you're watching right now, but essentially you're going to walk down through these 5 steps, and once you're done, you won't need this process anymore. It's just kind of your initial setup to get all your products imported and get off and running in the right direction. But this first module is just going to be kind of an overview of step by step how to get going, and then the future modules will be kind of a simple get started and kind of if you want to know on a daily basis what you need to do at the basic level. Maybe you have a VA, or maybe you just want to get started improving your PPC. You can walk through that module, and that's going to help you just get the gist of everything and kind of the bare bones. And then there's also going to be an advanced training module that if you really want to get into all the details in the data and really fine tune everything, kind of how to go about that. So 3 modules, this intro module, kind of the simple fast track module, and then the advanced module. So just kind of give you a basic overview of what we're going to be covering here in the training. But without further ado, let's get your system set up. Welcome to FBA Excel. I appreciate it. Thanks. Let's get going. All right. So what you're going to want to do is when you first open up your FBA Excel Google Sheet, this is where you're going to be directed to the settings page. You do need to put in your FBA Excel login email and your password. Enter that, and then there'll be actually I haven't added it, but there'll be a authorize button. The first script you try to run, for example, this one here, you're going to get an authorization required pop up. You just need to hit continue and select your Google account. If you haven't made one, just make a free one and then come back in and then do this process, and there'll be an option there. You'll click advanced and then go to Apex PPC and then scroll down and hit allow. And all that does is just enable all the scripts and automation in the system. So after that, you're going to run back up here and click on step 1, which will be authorize. I don't have the authorize synced up yet, but that'll be step 1. And then it'll just run through a script and then say you're good to go. Then you're going to bounce back up here and just walk down through these steps. This first one, we'll click on that. It's going to take you over to Amazon. You do need to be logged in to Amazon. You can just go to Google and log into your Seller Central, and it's just going to jump you to some of the download report screens here. You can see I've got 3 windows that pop up. Essentially, you're going to want to grab your first bulk file, and that's just going to import all your campaigns and everything. In this one, you're going to want to get your all listing report, which is right here. That's going to help you quickly get all your products imported into the system. And then here you're going to get the fee preview report, which if you scroll down just a little bit, it's going to be right here on the left. You're going to click that, and then you'll download it here. So I'm going to just download these real quick just to show you. For your bulk sheets, what you'll want to do is actually for all of these, create a Google Drive account. And it's free to set up. You can just Google Drive, and you'll have a breakdown like this. There'll be a main folder, and if you click on this little drop down here, you can right click and hit new folder. And what you want to do is make an uploads folder, and that's going to be where you're going to send all of your revised bulk files, your negate files, and a few other files. So you can, and that'll all be done kind of behind the scenes, but you do need this folder set up. And when you click on it, double click on it, up here there's going to be an ID, this last thing after the backslash, so you can copy that, and then if you bounce back over into the settings tab, you'll just pop that into that cell right there, and then everything will be good to go. At any rate, what you'll want to do as well though is make in your Google Drive account here, make like a bulk download folder and a search term folder. Those are really helpful. I've kind of got a training files folder here set up, but what you're going to want to do is have a folder that you can quickly save from Amazon into your Google Drive. So what you'll want to download, and I'll have another video on this, but is a desktop application. They have it for both Mac and Windows, but it allows you to basically get your Google Sheets on your local PC. So you'll have a folder when you go to your browser that says My Drive, and then when you click on that, you can see the same folders, and that just really makes it super fast to click and save files and upload files. So I would highly recommend you do that. The other setting you'll need is if you go up to Google Chrome, hit Settings, and then scroll down to Advanced, and then you'll see Downloads. I would recommend checking this, ask where to save each file, and that'll just save you a couple clicks each time you have to download a new report. It'll just automatically ask you where you want to save it, and you can select that Google Drive folder here. And you can always, you may know, you can drag like your upper level folder over here into the favorites, so it'll always be accessible quickly. At any rate, once you have your Google Drive folder set up and everything, it becomes pretty straightforward. We'll open these back up. The first bulk sheet, I would recommend you grab like 30 to 60 days worth of data. We'll have other videos on the different optimization algorithms, but a couple of the easiest ones to use are based on ratios, and you'll want the most data set available for those ratios. So go ahead and just grab like 60 days, hit create spreadsheet for download, and that's just gonna, after a couple minutes, populate here so you can click and download it. And we're just gonna drag that downloaded sheet into our Google Drive folder that we just set up. Over here, same deal, you're gonna go down, click all listing report, request report. You can see here I've already done one. You'll just click this download, and then same deal, drag it into your Google Drive folder. Here, same deal, you're gonna request a CSV download, and then after it's done, just download that, save it into that Google Drive folder. So once you're done, you should have everything into a folder like this. You can see I got my bulk download. Here I've actually got a search term report as well. That'll be a future video. I'm not gonna go over in this video. That's for a little more advanced feature, but all listing report and then the fee preview report, those are the three main ones here you need to get going. So once you have those, bounce back here to Apex, go down to step 2, which you're going to paste in a few tables here, just the all listing report data and then the fee preview report data. So to quickly open those, you're just going to go to File, Import, then it's going to bounce you into your Google Drive folder. So that's why it's real nice to have that set up. We'll go into training files, and then we're going to open up the all listing report and fee preview report. So fee preview, just double click. You can go ahead and hit import data, and it'll automatically open you up a new sheet. Just hit open now. Okay, so this one, if you're selling in Canada, it's actually going to give it to you in both units. Here we only need the US info, so you can just click once up in the header, click this little filter button up here, and then that'll give you a filter at the top. Go ahead and hit sort Z to A, and then you can see where it kind of stops, goes inches to centimeters. If you're not selling in Canada, you'll just have the inches, but you're just going to essentially grab all of this upper level data and go over. If you hold in Shift, that's how you can get all the cells, and then Control C copies the data. Then we're going to go over to Apex, and then just right here up in the below the header, hit paste. I like to just do the values. You're going to want to make sure that you don't accidentally override this price formula here. That's important. And this sheet here is actually the only sheet you have to do this copy and pasting. Kind of a pain, but it was really the quickest way to get the data easily. All right, so once you've got that, we're going to go back and actually go File, Import, and then do the all listing report. So double click there, hit import. Okay, so this gives you quite a bit of data on your listings. You actually don't need half of this, so we just grab the 4 columns you need. You do have to kind of sort it or organize the columns here real quick. So click once on A, and then you'll get a hand. You can just drag, then put it right after the seller SKU, right after column D. And then you're going to go and grab your ASIN over here, pull that right after the item name, and then this product ID type, pull it right after the ASIN. And if you want to pull in your FBM products as well, that's what all these number ones are. The number 3s are FBA. So go ahead and just make a filter, and then I like to Z to A, and then what you'll do is just make the number 3s say FBA, and then we'll drag that down to where the 3 stops. I'll go ahead and pull in my FBM as well. So we call the ones FBM, and that's fulfilled by merchant. You may not have those. And then once you're there, you just grab these 4 columns of data. Don't grab the header, just the first product there. Bounce back over here and paste values, and we're done now with the copy and pasting steps. So it wasn't too hateful. You can get out of there, and we're going to go back up now to the onboarding, and we've just pasted all the listing file data. We've pasted in the preview data. Now we just need to import our bulk file. So that's really simple. Just go to File, Import, find your bulk file that you downloaded. Mine's right here. Hit Insert New Sheets, Import Data. And depending on how big your bulk file is, this could take a couple seconds. Usually it's pretty quick. We'll have another video on how to optimize your ad campaign data, and you may archive some campaigns if you haven't used them or don't need them, and that makes things run a lot smoother. There is some built-in efficiency gains here in Google Sheets and how we structure the processes to make things work as quickly and as efficiently as possible. But you can see imports 4 sheets here, portfolios. This product campaigns is the main one you'll need, and these other 2 are for sponsored brands and display, which will have additional features in the future for those, but right now we don't use them, so don't really need those. They'll automatically be taken care of though. All right, and then the next step you're going to do is go up to your menu here and click Sync Products and Ad Group Dashboards, and this is just going to automatically pull in all of your listing data into the required dashboards. The products dashboard here, this is going to be the main one you're going to use to input a lot of the bid automation inputs. I mentioned there's a few different ones that we've got integrated into the system right now. There'll be future training videos on the details of each of those, but just know that you can either use the products dashboard to put in your bid inputs or the ad groups dashboard to put in your bid inputs. The products dashboard seems to be the favorite among users, as well as myself, the one I use for my account. The ad groups dashboard, as you can see there, it just populated all of your campaign and ad groups in your campaign manager. So you can actually get that detailed with your bids if you want to segment them out by ad group. It is a little bit much though if you've got quite a few ad groups, so that's why the products dashboard, if you're looking for simplicity and ease of use, that's going to be the one you're going to want to go with. After that's done, which is a pretty quick sequence, it's going to bump you back to your settings page here. You are going to want to pick which bid automation you're going to want to start with. I would recommend starting with the products view. So you can either, like I mentioned, you can pick the ad groups or the products dashboard to assign your inputs. The waterfall bid method is really nice. It's a ratio bidding automation that is more conservative of the 3. So if you want to really hone in your ACoS, that's going to be a good option. Iterative bidding, if you're familiar with Mina Elias's strategy, I'll put some other training materials to some of his stuff on YouTube, is really good. But that is one of the strategies we have built in that's definitely a scale type PPC strategy. If you're really looking to boost your revenue using PPC, look into that. And there'll be another video going over the details on that. But the revenue per click, this is a favorite of most of the SaaS platforms. They use as a baseline for their bidding. I basically take the revenue per click times your target ACoS, and then that recalculates a bid among some other factors, but that's kind of the core of it. So if you're going to want to use either the revenue per click times target ACoS or the waterfall bidding, you're going to want to pick from this at the products dashboard, which you would select products there, and then depending on which one you want to use, if you're going to want to use one of those ratio ones, pick this here and then click this button, and it's going to allow the bid automation inputs to be shown here as opposed to some of the other algorithms. So the inputs are kind of the core, what you're going to want to monitor here and change on a daily basis if you wish. You don't have to. You can keep them the same, let them run for a few days, and then you'll see once we go through the initialization sequence here in a minute, all of our metrics will show up here on the right. There's a couple hidden sections here. If you click these two pluses, this first one's going to give you a profit and ROI calculator. If you go up and hit Apex products and then calculate profits, it's going to actually drag down and pull in your information from your fee preview report. So all you would need to do is plug in your landed costs here, and then if you ever want to use like a coupon, either % off or dollar off, you can do that. And then it's going to show you your profits, your ROIs, your margins, so on and so forth. So that can be helpful in figuring out your break-even ACoS, which is going to be your gross margin over here. So you can kind of use that column in addition with the metrics that are going to populate here, you'll see in a minute, to monitor your inputs here and make finite adjustments to your inputs each time you optimize. The other hidden module here is for daily tracking. So if you want to track things like your ACoS on a daily basis, you can plug in kind of the date as you see there and just copy and paste whichever metric you want. I'll do an example of that later, but just know that that's there. All right, so that's a brief overview of your products dashboard. At this point, your ad groups dashboard, same deal. You've got all your campaign ad groups, and then we'll show you how to assign your bid settings if you wish to assign your bid settings at the ad group level. And then same deal on your outlining columns over here. You've got some general metrics that get pulled in each time you optimize. But let's finish up our onboarding sequence here. We've gone through, built out our dashboards. We've looked at our general settings. I think I covered all the general settings. So I talked about picking which dashboard you wanted to use here, and then if you wanted to use one of the ratio based bidding, you would pick the waterfall or the revenue per click, and then toggle that on. The iterative bidding here, if you click that and then click this button, you'll take you over to the products dashboard, and now you can see the iterative bidding settings. So that just kind of toggles the input settings that you want to use. If you're going to use the products dashboard, that only applies there. Stoptimizer limits. This is important when we talk about reducing wasted ad spend using the search term inspector tool. The Stoptimizer is one of the advanced filters for that, and here's where you set your threshold. So basically, if any of our search terms that usually are triggered from a research campaign don't or meet these thresholds, they're zero conversion type thresholds, but any search term hit these, we can quickly bulk negate these and help reduce our wasted ad spend. And then finally down here, if you are using the bulk campaign builder, you can plug in your sheet ID similar to how we did with our upload folder, and that's going to link the two so they can talk to each other and give you a few additional features that get enabled. So don't need to worry about that if you don't have the bulk campaign builder, but just know that that's there. So last step is pretty simple. Come up here and we're just going to initialize our Apex system, and it's going to finalize the onboarding. So click that and just show you what it does. Hit yes. All right, so once the onboarding process has completed, you're going to get a pop-up. I actually just closed out of it, but it's just going to say your onboarding's complete. At the bottom here, you should see some icons. This last one here is now your new bulk sheet file. You can see it's kind of formatted a little different than the default view if you've ever looked at your bulk sheet file. Google Sheets, you can come up here and change your zoom settings depending on your monitor size. So 90 works pretty good for my monitor. You can see the additional columns that it added. There's a one SKU, so that's how you can quickly filter for all your targets that are applicable to a single SKU. This column here is a more advanced column that you can use to pick specific targets and add to a bid override table here. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but just know that that's there. The other columns here, we've got % of sales. That's going to allow you to quickly filter and see at a target level and a SKU level which targets are performing the best. Optimized bid column, the red one here, this is going to be where when we go through our bidding process, again, not going to cover that in this video, but simple 4-step process. When we get to step 3, that's where we run through the bid optimization. We're essentially just going to click a button. It's going to put in our new bid there, and then it's going to actually override and plug the bid in over here as well. But this gives you kind of a preview of what the optimized bid is versus the current cost per click versus your original bid. That's always going to stay the same on every optimization sequence that you run, so you can kind of see where your initial bid started. And there's a few hidden columns as well. off to the right there that enable us to just do a lot of fancy things. Like we've got enable all targets, enable everything with conversions. Here's our percent of sales. We can quickly sort. If we ever want to reset our bids, that grabs that original bid and just plugs it back in so we can restart. Check for duplicates. That's going to be real nice for just seeing if we've got any of the same targets in the same match types for the same SKUs, so we can make sure we're not cannibalizing and bidding against ourselves. Here we can quickly review any bid changes. So if we want to see a short list of everything that changed, and then overriding the campaigns, that's a more advanced filter that we'll cover here in a future video. But this is your bulk file that after the onboarding process, how it should look. If we bounce back to our products page dashboard, you can see now we've got some metrics over here to the right. And that's just an instantaneous snapshot of, based on the data range we selected in the first step of the onboarding, what our metrics are looking like. Ad group level, same deal. You've got a lot of the metrics pulled in. If you've got a lot of paused campaigns, there's maybe not going to be metrics, but you'll have to scroll down and just see kind of what you got going on. I typically actually don't even use the ad group dashboard, but for some of the advanced new features we're going to be implementing, this will be important to have this. So some of the other users are using it as well. If you have fewer campaigns, it's a little more easy to manage. You can segment further, like if you have defensive, top of search only, maybe branded, all with the same SKU. It can be helpful to be able to toggle your inputs at the ad group level. All right, guys, so that does it for the setup onboarding video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.